Hello and welcome to the Virtual Racing League, live tonight from Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway for 200 laps around this short track. It's going to be very exciting racing here tonight with some of the best drivers in the sim. I'm looking forward to another fantastic race from some of these guys out here tonight. This track, a very high-banked short track, almost like a high-banked Martinsville in the way that it is shaped. And a 0.6 mile racetrack, a bit longer than a track like Martinsville or Bristol. So a little bit more room to build up that speed on these straightaways and carry it through these corners. We take a look at Keith Mayato currently running around here under the practice session, getting upwards of about 130, 140 miles an hour down into the corners, carrying right around 100 miles an hour in speed. And definitely an intense place to race around, and looking forward to some fun side-by-side action, some beating and banging potentially in this old school bumpy racetrack. Stage tonight going to be lap number 50. And of course we want to welcome you here to V-Speed to enjoy tonight's race, and encourage you to chat it up with the other viewers, and hope you guys do enjoy the broadcast. Right now, Connor Horn, a four-time winner this season, sitting on top of the practice times and setting himself up potentially for another good run tonight. But a lot can happen between practice and that checkered flag at the end of the race. Driver's going to have to go through qualifying here in a couple minutes. Let's take a look at the points in the Virtual Racing League Cup Series as they come into tonight's race. AJ Stravato, a two-time winner here this season, currently leading the standings over last week's winner Connor Horn, who took the victory at Circuit of the Americas in a very impressive, dominating victory. And his fourth on the season, starting to collect a lot of playoff points, and might have a good shot at advancing through those rounds as we make our way towards that point in the season. But this is about the halfway point in the regular season, and Stravato, his consistency paying off as he's up there on top. And then a few drivers right there behind them. You've got Alec Martinez, a race winner from earlier this season. Dylan Parker hasn't found victory lane, but again, consistency from that driver. He is in the fourth position in standings. Jeff Wright, a winner at Sonoma. Adam Cabot, who won at Darlington. Safe Ferris, who won as well earlier this season. A first-time winner, both Cabot and Safe Ferris, both of them winning for their first times here in the Virtual Racing League. Yusuf Gawi, last year's champion, making his way up into the top 10 in standings. 8th in entering tonight's race. Keith Mayato, 9th. Angelo Ronas, 10th. Mark Emerson, 11th. And Jeremiah Vincent, currently the top 12. And about 25 points back, you've got Eric Hutton, a race winner this season, but on the outside of that cut line, needs to find some strength here in the second half of the regular season to work his way back in. Garrett Kite, Elliott Butler, Greg Wellen, Eddie Trejo, Jordan Ashland, Joe Stafford, Caleb Hattery, rounding out the top 20 in the standings. So some drivers looking for potentially an opportunity to claw their way back up into contention. A short track such as this. The checkered flag flying here in a practice session. Oh man, big hit for Safe Ferris. Big crash out of turn number 4. And Barney, the flag man, really going at it right there. The drivers now headed to the qualifying session. We'll see where they line up for tonight's race. See who gets out on track first to start their qualifying attempts. Looks like Yusuf Gali, who was very quick last week at Circuit of the Americas, looking for his first race victory this season in 2021. But never count out that 54. He had a real rough start in the first, 8-10 races, and over these last few weeks has really picked it up, and he is, as you saw, up into the top 10 in points. Diving down into turn number 1 and 2 right there on that low line. Look how bumpy it is trying to make his way onto the back straightaway. Into 3 and 4, going to run more of a higher groove to build that momentum. And really struggling. He's going to slam the outside wall and try and bring it to a stop, and he will. That lap, actually just the out lap, I don't think will count for anything. We take a look at Bailey Turner here, who's up to speed. Gonna cross the start-finish line. And that lap will count. He'll go to the top of the board for the moment, a 19.086. Bailey had a strong run, I believe, last week at Circuit of the Americas. Here's a good shot from the inside of the race car. Look at the speed across the start-finish line. He'll improve to an 18.931. Great lap time there. Still atop of the board in qualifying is Connor Horn, making his way around for lap number 2. Really wheeling it out of the corner. Not able to beat Bailey's time. That 24 car hooked up here during the qualifying session. A great job by Bailey as Garrett Kite out of turn number 4 as well. Back end hanging out. Can't break into the 18-second barrier. Only 2 drivers able to get a lap time that low so far. We do have Dylan Parker with a 19 flat, a 19.000. You don't see that very often. An even number like that. As Hutton across the line, a 19.19. That'll bump him up to the 9th position. Yusuf Gawi still has not taken a qualifying time, but he is getting back up to speed now. Trying to refocus, get that car hooked up. Try and warm up those tires a little bit. And we will ride on board with him here. He tries to get this car around this difficult racetrack. See how hard he's fighting the wheel here just to keep that car pointed in the right direction. And across the start-finish line in 1941. Only going to be good enough for 14th, and he brings it to a halt. You take a look, Mark Emerson starting to roll off pit lane. He'll roll up onto the banking and try to get up there with those top 2 who have run such great lap times in this session. A little bit messed up with our camera here. Something must have changed with one of the more recent updates. But Mark Emerson, a really big slide right there through 3 and 4 across the line, a 19.87, but he's going to try and improve on lap number 2. Really sails it off into turn 1. Down the back straightaway he goes, dives it into turn number 3. Right now the slowest qualifier, going to try and improve on that. Good lap this time around. And much improved. That'll move him all the way up to the 11th position, right behind AJ Servato. And now Alec Martinez is going to jump to 2nd. He'll knock Connor Horn back to 3rd. At number 18, showing some good speed in the qualifying session. Alec, such a good, consistent qualifier, and almost always up there in the first 2 rows. But that is pretty much everybody who has attempted a lap. Jeremiah Vincent does not have a time. He's not going to have enough time remaining in the session to get one in. So that should pretty well do it for qualifying. As the clock ticks down to 0, checkered flag being shown to all the drivers and teams in the qualifying session. And now the starting grid from Nashville Fairgrounds, race number 12 of the Virtual Racing League. This is how your drivers are starting here tonight. Rolling off from the pole, Bailey Turner, the 24 machine. Really hooked up there in qualifying. Great lap time in 18.931. He'll be joined by Alec Martinez, winner from week number 1 in the 2nd position. Rolling off from 3rd, it is going to be Connor Horn, 4-time winner, looking for win number 5. Dylan Parker, starting from 4th, looking for his first victory of the season. Jeremy Miller, starting in 5th. Garrett Kite, rolling off from 6th. Zach Halpern, the 7 machine, rolling off from 7th. Safe Ferris, starting in the 8th position. Ryan Shelton, starting from 9th. And Greg Wellen, rounding out the top 10. Starting in 11th, it's AJ Stravato, the points leader. He'll be joined alongside the 22 of Mark Emerson in 12th. 13th is Eric Hutton. 14th, Caleb Hattery. 15th, Adam Cabot. 16th, Yusuf Ghali. 17th, Elliot Butler. 18th, Keith Mayato. 19th, Lyle Sulfridge. 20th, Lane Sulfridge. Jeremiah Vincent rounding out the field here tonight. 21 drivers. Should be a good one here from Nashville Fairgrounds. Not a huge field, but not a big racetrack either. This could lead to some pretty nice green flag runs. And really looking forward to the action that we're going to see here tonight. As it looks like pretty much everybody gridded up. Cool track temperatures around the racetrack this evening. Right there, 65-degree air temp, 66-degree track temp. So should be plenty of grip, although we saw these guys sliding around, and those bumps make it very unpredictable as you head down into the corner. You never know what the car is going to do and how it's going to react. So you'll see a lot of drivers slipping and sliding, and maybe some beating and banging as they make their way through these corners. And cheer on your favorite driver. Let us know you're out there so we can follow along with them throughout the race. There's going to be a new winner tonight. Can Bailey Turner continue or show the speed from qualifying during the race session? Will be somebody else finding victory lane here tonight. Cheer on your favorite driver. Maybe they'll come home with that race win. We do want to thank you for joining us, as this is just the second week back on YouTube and Facebook. And appreciate everyone watching. If you're watching on either of those platforms, we appreciate the support from last week and the great viewership and commenting and interaction that we saw, and looking forward to a lot more here over the next half of this season. As the pace truck leading the field around for the second lap. They'll be going green this time. And I'm a bit nervous for these guys. This track can be so hard to race side by side, but some of these drivers have a ton of experience on the sim, some of the best drivers in the sim. And they could put on a great show for us as Bailey Turner in control gets us going. Green flag in the air from Nashville Fairgrounds for 200 laps. Short track racing. Bailey Turner leading them down through turns 1 and 2. Big wiggle there for Alec Martinez as he's under pressure. We've got cars in the wall up here in the top 5. That looks like it might have been the 30 of Jeremy Miller, who's racing it up now side by side with Garrett Kite, the 8. Trying to take that 5th position away. They're still side by side. You see Safe Fair has drifted well up the racetrack there. Jeremy, big wiggle as Ryan Shelton also in the picture now to the inside of the 44. And Safe running a bit of an inverted scheme, it appears. Nice looking color combo as Bailey Turner, look at this, already out there 7/10. And side by side for second, Alec Martinez, Connor Horn. No strangers to each other. These two did battle last week at COTA. And it looks like Connor might have the advantage. Not quite clear of the 18. As Alec trying to maintain on that high side. Not going to be able to do it. Connor now taking the 2nd spot as they've broken away from 4th place Dylan Parker, leading this larger group of race cars. Mark Emerson looking to the inside of Ryan Shelton. And AJ Stravato, Adam Cabot side by side as well. Out of turn 4, Cabot losing that spot. The 10th position now handed to Stravato. A few drivers to keep your eye on farther back in the field. We've got cars brushing the wall down the backstretch. But Keith Mayato and Yusuf Ghali nose to tail right now. Keep an eye on those drivers to make their way forward as the race goes on. 14th, 15th right now, just 6 laps in. Man, look at this speed from Bailey Turner, who just returned to the league a few races ago. And he is showing off some pace tonight. Up here, 1.1 seconds out in front of Connor Horn. And then Connor leading Alec Martinez. Car spinning in the back. That's Safe Fares and Ryan Shelton, I believe. And we've got a car piling in. That's going to be the 70 of Lyle Sulfridge, making contact with Ryan as he was stopped sideways on the track. And first yellow of the night flying here on lap number 8. Taking a look here, Safe Fair's Ryan Shelton. We're racing up side by side in 1 and 2. The 10 really low on the track. I don't know if Safe knew he was there. I'm going to see if we can get a different view on this one. Yeah, Safe starting to come down, 10 starting to come up. And they met in the middle, and then Ryan just sitting on the racetrack. Lyle Sulfridge, nothing he could really do. It's out of the corner. It's a lot of smoke, although he does see the 10 sitting there, potentially. Sometimes the driver's seeing different things from their perspective than what we're able to see here on the broadcast. But Lyle Sulfridge with heavy nose damage, and he's going to remain on the pit lane now, a lap down already. Try not to go a second lap down, but very close as the pace truck leading the field across the start-finish line. Bailey Turner, fastest car so far in the race. He's got the best lap. He was out there over a second over Connor Horn, showing some good speed early in tonight's race. It's such an interesting racetrack. I hadn't had much experience with it until a few months back. There was a big pay race and a lot of drivers participating in that. It was the first time I'd ever driven this track, and it is definitely hard to get around here. So big props to everybody who survives tonight's race. This will be quite a feat to get around here, and some good racing there in those early laps for sure. As Bailey Turner picks the outside lane, he'll have control of this restart. And Connor Horn down there on the inside. Going to try and time this restart as well as he can. And Bailey spinning the tires a little bit, but Connor also spins the tires. And Bailey Turner jumps out to a nice little advantage here down into turn number 1. As side by side back here, see the 3 of Dylan Parker up high. He's going to lose the 3rd position to Alec Martinez. And now side by side between Jeremy Miller and Garrett Kite. AJ Stravato now up a few positions into the 7th spot, as a handful of drivers did pit during that caution flag. Down the backstretch they go. Car is getting so close to that outside wall. See Wayne Sulfridge working up in that 3rd groove. I saw him running up by the wall during practice, which is a way to get around here. And right now he is running about that 3rd groove and really higher up than anybody else. Ryan Shelton 2 laps down now. Lyle Sulfridge 2 laps down. Look at Safe Fair shooting it 3 wide here. He's going to go between his teammate and the 71. As Bailey Turner stretching it out again, 8/10. And about 35 to go to the end of the stage. Not really too terribly long of a run, and these guys doing a great job side by side. Mark Emerson, Yusuf Ghali, as Yusuf going to take that position away. He's up to the 9th position and trying to track down Adam Cabot and AJ Stravato, who continue to battle this now for the 7th position. And Jeremy Miller a bit tight out of the corner there, couldn't get the car pointed in the right direction. And now they're going to door bang through turns 1 and 2. The 30 of Jeremy Miller gets pushed up the racetrack. That opens the door for Adam Cabot. Here he comes looking to the inside into 3. He's going to tag the 30. Can Jeremy hang on to it? Stravato able to keep it mostly off of him. Just a little brush, and they do stay green. What a save by the 30 of Jeremy Miller. And now he's got Hungry Wolves behind him. The 94 of Greg Wellen and Elliott Butler. We've also got Caleb Hattery right here. Drivers just outside the top 10, trying to find their way forward early on in this race. Bailey Turner, Connor Horn, they have absolutely driven away from the field. Alec Martinez about 2 seconds behind Connor Horn. And then Dylan Parker closing in on him. There could be a battle for the third position here in a few moments. Right now, Bailey starting to feel potentially the effects of pushing really hard on those tires. Connor is now the fastest car on the racetrack, and he is closing the gap. It was over 8 tenths, now down to around 6 tenths as they cross the start-finish line. That 24 car showing really good short-run speed, but does he have it for the long run here tonight? We'll have to wait and see. This battle now for third, though. Dylan Parker's there. Just a half car length separating these two. As look at the battle a bit farther back. Yusuf Ghali continuing to fight forward after a really poor qualifying effort for his standards. And he's also followed Adam Cabot up through. Cabot up 9 positions. Yusuf up 9 positions. And AJ Stravato up a handful here. All up in that top 8. Which does pay points here at the end of the stage. Dylan Parker to the inside of Alec Martinez, the battle for third. We'll see if the inside is going to work here tonight. Great run for Dylan, and he is just trying to keep it down there and keep it off the 18. Oh, and Alec right up against the outside barrier. As the leaders crossing the start-finish line, it's about 4 tenths separating those two, and then a little ways back to the rest of the field. Look at this, still side by side. Dylan Parker trying to make it happen. Has not been able to complete that pass. But doing a really good job down low, keeping it off the 18. Is up out of the corner. Look at him trying to wheel this thing. Not able to complete the pass, and Alec actually pulling back past him. Ooh, and look at the big wiggle there from Adam Cabot, able to hang on to it. Nice piece of driving. He won at Darlington, which in a way races kind of like this place with all the bumps and the old surface. But the way you get around it, very different. Out in front, Bailey Turner starting to pull a gap once again on Connor Horn. Now up over 5.5 tenths. The Connor seems to be really good out at turn number 2. That's where he closes it up. Welcome, Blazer Pete. Thanks for joining here tonight. Hope you're enjoying it so far. 28 laps in. That 24 car has shown the way each time around. He and Connor Horn absolutely flying in comparison to the rest of the drivers. 4 seconds up over Alec Martinez, who continues to hold off the 3. But big brake lock up there for Dylan Parker, as he's got quite a bit of nose damage. Think he ran into the 18. Yeah, there is contact shown there. And look at this, still trying to hang along the quarter panel. Can't quite get there, but he'll dive it in into turn 3. And this battle, very intense. I'm sure it feels like the most intense racing these guys have done in a while. This is some great stuff. As Alec Martinez up high here, let's take a look from behind them. Garrett Kite, the 8 machine. Easy on that throttle, on that wheel, little correction there. As now Dylan going to jump back up into the high line, try and build up that momentum once again and make another charge at Alec, who's done a great job of holding him off. A little bit farther back, Stravato peeking to the inside. There's contact now. The 18 up in the wall. Alec Martinez trying to hang on to it. Oh, and more contact there is Alec coming back down the racetrack. Let's go see what happened here between Martinez and Parker. And I think Dylan just drove it in a bit too deep. That sends the 18 into the outside barrier. And he was still trying to hang on to it. Bumped into the wall, hit the 33. And all the way back to 8th position. Meanwhile, Connor Horn closing the gap again. Now it's just a car length and a half. Bailey Turner feeling the pressure from that matte black Toyota Camry. But doing a good job as he has continued to show the way. He's got to hold him off for about 15 more laps as they come to the start-finish line. He could get his first playoff points of the season. But quite a long race here tonight, 200 laps. But if they keep up with this pace, it'll be over in no time, really. Lapping at about 19.5 second pace, or sub 20 seconds, even as the tires start to wear. How about this? Yusuf Ghali up from 16th to the 4th position, showing great speed. And now he's trying to track down the damaged 3 machine of Dylan Parker. He'll look to the outside in 3 and 4. No room to make the move up there just yet. Big wiggle out of the corner, but still 2 car lengths behind. And he'll look down low in 1 and 2. Closes the gap up there. But it'll cost him on the exit as Dylan still trying to find a good rhythm in that car after the mistake with the 18. He's lost a bit of time and a bit of pace here. But these guys really sliding all over the place. It is a lot of fun to watch. Side by side they go, but meanwhile up front still a car length separating these two, and they're closing in on lap traffic. That's Lyle Sulfridge 5 laps down in front of them. And Bailey doing a fantastic job. He has led the first 40 laps, but you can see that 67 just waiting for an opportunity. He is there. I think he's a bit quicker. Just finding a way around is going to be the tough part. And they continue to be the fastest cars on the racetrack by over 1/10 of a second. Next closest is Dylan Parker, who's under serious pressure. Adam Cabot actually picking up the pace as well. He's been pretty quick here these last few laps, as well as AJ Stravato. Problem is they're 7 seconds back. Nobody making anything happen just yet, but I saw a close call back there between Hutton and Jeremy Miller. Hutton in the wall. Maybe a little contact with the 36 of Mayato, as it appeared they were all checking up. They get straight and single file again, though, and no issue there. And man, this is just so cool to see the cars sliding all over like this at this kind of a pace. On board with Adam Cabot now. He is side by side with AJ Stravato, these two good friends and very competitive racers. Cabot beating Stravato at Darlington. And AJ has said since then that there's nobody else he'd rather lose to than that 77. Says Adam doesn't get enough credit for his skill out here on the racetrack, and he's definitely shown flashes of brilliance at times, and finally capturing that first race win at Darlington a few weeks back. Doing a good job here tonight, up here in the top 10. And as the battle for the race lead closing back up again, Connor Horn fell to about 4/10 back, and he has closed it up now under 3/10. And really it's just about a car length between these two. But I think Bailey just putting up such great laps here. It's going to be hard for Connor to close any, significant amount. And then to make the pass, he's going to have the greatest lap that anybody could have. Just doesn't look like it's going to be possible, as Bailey still holding him off. Trying to lead every lap here in stage number 1. A little bit off out of turn number 2, but still maintains that margin. 3-4 car lengths now into turns 1 and 2. Stretching out back again, just 2 more to go to the end of this stage. Great performance for Bailey Turner, and no other battles for position at the moment. This will be the one to look at, as Turner 1 lap to go in the stage, leading Connor Horn by about 0.4 of a second. Through 1 and 2 they go. That 24 car showing the way for the first 49 laps, trying to make it all 50 in the stage. And out of turn number 4, he is going to do it. He'll win the stage. Connor Horn second. Dylan Parker able to hold off Yusuf Ghali, who's charged hard here in the first 50 laps. And as they cross the line, Cabot, Stravato, Alec Martinez just able to stay out in front of, oh, that is actually Ryan Shelton, who's multiple laps down. Alec Martinez capturing the final points paying position in stage number 1. And that's how they cross the line. Bailey Turner, Connor Horn, Dylan Parker, Yusuf Ghali, Garrett Kite, Adam Cabot, AJ Stravato, and Alec Martinez, the top 8 finishers, all earning stage points. So they'll bring it to pit lane. A very tight entry onto the pit road here. As Yusuf Ghali all the way back there down pit lane, and they'll pull into pit road. We'll see who wins the battle off. Track position going to be so important here tonight. Can Bailey Turner win that battle off Connor Horn? Really good exit. I think he's going to beat him. Question is, was he speeding? Will he have to give that up? Safe Ferris remains on the racetrack to lead some laps here. But I would imagine he would bring it in before the end of the yellow flag period. And Connor Horn not showing any sign of speeding, so Connor going to take the net lead there with fresh tires, as we are going to cut to a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
V-Speed is proud to be partnered with Below the Double Yellow podcast, a podcast for NASCAR fans by NASCAR fans. Listen to Nick and Joe discuss all the latest on-track action, available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. V-Speed is also proud to present the 2021 Below the Double Yellow Cup Series, brought to you by the American Trucking Association, starting January 14th, 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursdays at twitch.tv/VSpeedSim.
Back at the racetrack now, about to go green once again. Connor Horn leading the way. And he gets a good restart here, leading the field back down into turn number 1. They are stacking it up a bit farther back. But Connor in control at this point. Can Bailey Turner get back out front? Contact! Cabot goes around Dylan Parker, and that's a lot of the field right there. A roadblock on the backstretch. And AJ Stravato, points leader, involved in that one. He's got heavy damage. And cautions, breeding cautions, proving true right there. It looked like Dylan Parker got loose and just corrected right back up into the 77. Let's find this. Look for the 3 down there on the inside. He's got that nose damage. Down there through the bumps, the back end comes around, up into the 77, into the wall. The car's nowhere to go. Some in the wall, spinning farther back as well. Take another look at this. There's the hit. The 8 of Garrett Kite, AJ Stravato, Eric Hutton, Elliott Butler involved, Greg Wellen, and others. But so unfortunate there for a couple drivers who were running extremely good races in the 3 and the 77. Just nature of these tight restarts and just a little mistake there costing a lot of drivers. Man, what a hit for Cabot. He'll spin it back around there, and some drivers going to have to spend quite a bit of time to get damage repaired. I believe I see that Safe Fares also with heavy nose damage, and quite a few others involved in this one. We're going to see if we can get a quick interview in with Bailey Turner, winner of stage number 1, as we've got another yellow flag. Bailey Turner, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy. Hey, Bailey. Oh. Be there. Hey, Bailey, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, Bailey, you're very quick there in stage number 1. You led every lap and won the stage after starting on the pole, but now you're behind that 67 machine. What's going to be the strategy? How do you think you can get back around him?
I mean, it's going to be tough, definitely. Connor showed he had that pace the whole run, and we kind of ran away with it there. But I was just doing all I could to see if I could hold him back there, and I don't know if he was saving a little bit or not. So I think this next run we have right here, if I can clear for second, kind of see what pace we both have.
Yeah, you definitely pulled away from the field, both you and Connor, and how's the car feel out there tonight, and what are you doing differently than some of these guys that's getting all that speed?
Honestly, just that old adage, slow is fast. Just taking care of the tires and managing the car throughout the run and not pushing too hard, and it seems to be paying off.
Definitely paying off. You restart second here, and good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see if we talk to you at the end.
All right, thank you.
All right, Bailey Turner, second position. He'll restart alongside Connor Horn. As waiting for that green flag. There it is. Early jump by the 67 of Connor Horn, and he'll lead them down into turn 1 with a pretty decent advantage over Bailey. Let's see, are they making it through turn 2 here on lap 1 this time? Looks like some contact deeper in the pack. The 22 of Mark Emerson up into Jeremy Miller, but they'll keep it green for that lap at least. A few drivers marching forward. Keith Mayato, he's started to move forward, trying to follow in the footsteps of Yusuf Ghali, who's up here all the way to 3rd and pressuring Bailey Turner. I think Yusuf going to be one to watch as this race goes on. Still 3/4 pretty much to go in this one. And now that 54 car looking low, almost up into the quarter panel as they go side by side out of turn number 4. Across the start finish line, a little bit of contact there. Rubbin is racing here at Nashville tonight. We've seen it all over the track, all up and down throughout the field. And now Yusuf Ghali from 16th up to 2nd, trying to track down the driver who beat him last week at Circuit of the Americas. But Bailey Turner's not done yet. He's going to look down to the inside, try and get that speed in the low lane, and not able to do it. Yusuf defends there nicely. That's a little bit farther back. Keith Mayato's made his way past Elliott Butler and Eric Hutton. But Hutton also marching through the field a little bit here. 6 positions gained. He's got a bit of nose damage, but overall, seems the car is driving just fine as he's racing it up here with Elliott Butler not able to complete the pass. behind him, Alec Martinez, who was so strong in the opening segment of the race, was third. Got sent up into the wall by Dylan Parker. And fell to the 8th position where he runs right now. And still trying to find a way back forward, but heavy right side damage could be hurting that race car. Meanwhile, the top 3 starting to pull away just a little bit again. And Yusuf, he is putting some pressure on Connor Horn. Look at this, really wheeling that race car after struggling to put a qualifying lap down. He has got great speed tonight. A little bit off there out of turn 2 in the 24 Bailey Turner. It looked like he was going to make an attempt. But that is not the case. They stay single file, 1, 2, 3. And then Garrett Kite back here trying to hold off Keith Mayato and others. So we've got kind of 2 3-car packs. And then back to Eric Hutton as Elliott Butler actually just brushed the wall right there. But Eric Hutton leading Alec Martinez. And then Zach Halpern leading a larger pack of cars here. Mark Emerson, AJ Stravato. And Zach, who's been joining us here in the booth on Thursday nights, doing a pretty solid job in the top 10. And there will be no broadcast here tomorrow night. The bye week for the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series. They'll be back next week with Watkins Glen, and that'll be a great one. One of my favorite tracks on iRacing and in the real world, it being my home track. Look forward to some good racing from those guys, and a few characters in this series also playing a part over there on Thursday nights. But look at this battle. Mark Emerson, AJ Stravato. AJ able to take the position away. He moves back into the top 10 with a heavily damaged race car. Meanwhile, up front, Yusuf Gawi still applying the pressure to Connor Horn. It might just be a matter of time before he moves him. He is running right in the tire tracks for the moment, but definitely a bit more speed. If Connor is maybe just saving, not sure. On board with Yusuf right now as you hear him just waiting on that throttle. Connor, a really good exit out of 2. That time he'll bump the gap up to a few car lengths. Yusuf really aggressive at getting down into the turn. And you can see how hard he is driving that thing up out of the corner. It's trying to come around on him, but he is doing a great job. And Bailey Turner right there, big wiggle. That's going to cost him some momentum. He's top 3 the class of the field at the moment. And I think that was even apparent earlier on. But look at this, Keith Mayato. He's trying to get around Garrett Kite. The 8-car up in that preferred high lane for defending. Real good run for Keith. Hits the bumps pretty hard right there. That's going to cost him on exit, as he can't get back alongside. And Garrett blinking out for a moment. Mayato maybe in danger of losing a position to Elliott Butler. And Keith not really able to drive up out of that turn. The 8 of Garrett Kite kind of running a middle groove. He'll throw the block on the 36. We'll see if Keith pulls up into that high groove. He will now, and try and build that momentum back up to get another attempt to pass at the 8 machine. Oh, man, some fantastic racing tonight from these guys. As the top 2 now starting to pull away from Bailey Turner. Bailey wishing he probably just drove a little bit harder up out of the pit lane. Sometimes it's tough when you're that first car. Really get grip and to drive off the pit lane. And car in the wall there, that's the 70 of Lyle Sulfridge, who now goes a 6th lap down. Apparently 20th out of 20 drivers that started tonight's race. Bailey maybe wishing his pit crew was a little bit quicker, maybe wishing he drove it a little harder off the pit lane. He's seeing those two Toyotas drive away from him. Still not too far out, though. He's got a chance to reel him back in, especially if they get to side by side. And we might see green flag pit stops at this rate. They've already gone 32 laps on this run. They can probably go, I'd say probably about 80 laps, maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure what the fuel load is tonight. But I wouldn't expect drivers to stay out there for much longer than that. It's going to be really tough on the tires here tonight. Mayato, who's been riding a bit of a wave of momentum here in this series, climbing back into the top 10 in points. Right now riding in the 5th position, trying to track down that 8. Just has not been able to make the pass on him at the moment. But just a little bit quicker each lap. But you're kind of along for the ride here. Really got to focus on racing the track and not as much the cars around you. Number 1 priority is just to survive the race. Number 2 is go out there and try to win, as that is what these guys up here in the front are doing. They've got a good handle on these cars. They have a pretty good margin over Keith Mayato and Garrett Kite. Eric Hutton is now in this battle, a 4-car battle, and Alec Martinez closing in. Could be a 5-car battle, as we've got drivers weaving their way around the 70 of Sulfridge. And everybody getting by cleanly for the moment. Almost contact there with Safe Ferris. Safe, who's having a great rookie year here in the Virtual Racing League. Not a great night for him tonight in the 15th position. But a winner this season nonetheless. And quite a few top 5s over the last few weeks. Connor Horn still leading the field, getting closer and closer to the halfway point. And now the 71 of Lane Sulfridge off the pace. He's going to go a lap down, currently in the lucky dog position if anything was to happen. Connor Horn starting to pull a little bit of a gap over the 54. But again, pit stops coming into play potentially later on in this race. You never really know what can happen. We've seen Connor make mistakes on pit road with speeding, and he really does push the issue. We've seen a lot of other drivers have problems. Look at the big slide there from Mayato, as it looks like he is closed back in on the 8. But the top 3 have broken away. We're going to go to a quick side-by-side commercial break, and we will be right back.
I'm Jonathan Proper, CEO of Drops.com, and I'm here to give you the naked truth about laundry. Size does not matter when it comes to laundry. Let's start with jugs. It's big, all right, messy too, and expensive. You know why? Lots of plastic, lots of water, shipped all over the country, from factory to warehouse to retailer. That's what you're paying for. It's a dinosaur, and we all know dinosaurs are extinct. Meet our imitators. This is your average detergent pod. It has 20 plus chemicals with names nobody can pronounce. Nice colors. I hope they don't stain. I know color doesn't clean. Would you take a bath in either of these? No way. That's why we developed Drops. Drops is dye-free, MPE-free, phosphate-free, animal cruelty-free. So free, it's freaking awesome. We make Drops with only 6 safe ingredients, certified by the EPA. Drops is tough on dirt, but gentle enough for a baby's skin. It's so gentle, I'm taking a bath in it. Doing laundry with Drops is hard to up. 1 drop equals 1 load. Now, can we talk about my package? 100% recyclable.
V-Speed is proud to be partnered with Below the Double Yellow.
Caution out on the racetrack, and it looks like it might have involved the 6 of Elliott Butler, perhaps others as well. Go take a look and see what happened. Yeah, it looks like it did involve the 6 as he was racing it up with Eric Hutton. And the 88 down low, 6 up high, into the outside wall, bouncing off the wall, gets tagged by Alec Martinez. And then that car starts to go around, hangs on to it, and slammed into by the 30 of Jeremy Miller. Everybody else able to navigate around, but Jeremy not so lucky on this one as he spins it back around, actually right into the tire barrier there at the end of the pit lane wall. And he tried to shoot the gap to the outside, just couldn't make it happen as the 6 started to loop it back around. And I think Elliott was trying to keep it up by the outside wall as much as possible and ended up not working out for either of them. The yellow flag flying there. Connor Horn winning the battle off pit road again. Yusuf Ghali second. And Bailey Turner going to come off the pit road in the 3rd position. And to recap, that's only our 4th caution of the race here, just past halfway. Really good showing by these guys tonight. Just 2 lead changes, but it's been pretty fun to see all the racing happening all throughout the pack. Not necessarily a ton of passes, but man, they are really going for it here tonight with the cars sliding around the way they are. And racing the racetrack tonight, the key factor in getting around here. Of course, past the halfway point, cheer on your favorite driver. Who do you think's going to win tonight? Connor Horn going to get win number 5. Or is it going to be somebody else? Is Yusuf Ghali going to be able to stay there with him and put some pressure on? I think they'll have to, they may still have to make a pit stop before the end of the race. But who knows? They might be able to go green to the end. Maybe somebody stretches in on fuel. You just never know. This track kind of throwing a curveball at some drivers. I'm sure they probably don't have much experience here. But so far, a lot of great racing action. A lot of beat-up race cars, though, as a result of that. But amazingly, just those 4 cautions. If you are tuned in here tonight on YouTube and Facebook, thank you so much for watching. I hope you are enjoying. Please consider following the Facebook page, also liking, subscribing here on YouTube. And I want to thank everybody who's joined on here over the last week since we've switched back. But you can check us out at all these different social media outlets to see what we're doing throughout the week. Race announcements being posted on Twitter and Facebook before each broadcast. You can follow along there. Every race up on YouTube as well. As Connor Horn gets us going again, green flag back in the air. Really nice restart for the 67. As he'll lead the field through turns 1 and 2, up out of the corner here. Look at this, really digging as they go side by side. Keith Mayato now behind Bailey Turner, trying to get up there into the 4th position. He's racing it up at the moment. I believe it's Garrett Kite to the outside. It is. Garrett going to take the 4th position back. These two have battled over the last 50 laps or so. And back to where they have been running. But Garrett now has his sights set on those race leaders. Oh, big slide by Mayato. Amazing he held on to it there. That was just a massive slide. We've seen drivers doing that all race long. But that one was, he was a good 20 degrees around on the straightaway. And, man, just got that thing corrected perfectly. And off he went. He's still trailing the 8 machine. And I think if Mayato can get past Garrett, he might have the pace to keep up with those top 3. He just has not had it here on the short run. As, look at this, Mark Emerson looking to the inside of Zach Halper, and that's for 7th position. And Mark drifting up the racetrack, but able to dive it back down out of turn 2. Really good run there. And he'll take away that spot as Zach pretty much lets him have it. Now he's going to try and fend off Adam Cabot, who's got that missing front end, but still pretty good pace out of that car. And still 16 cars on the lead lap. Ryan Shelton, the only car 1 lap down. He's here kind of mixed in with the lead lap cars. And the next car off the lead lap is Lyle Sulfridge, 7 laps down. And 2 cars out of the race, Jeremy Miller and Caleb Hattery calling it a night early. Back up front though, look at that, Yusuf Ghali. Sideways out of turn 4. Almost got to the inside of Connor Horn in 1 and 2. But it'll cost him some momentum down the backstretch. Still within a car length as Bailey Turner still up here with these guys. And these 3 clearly have it figured out. Nobody's been able to keep pace with them. Now Bailey looking to the inside, almost gets into the bumper. And that checked up Bailey quite a bit. Garrett Kite actually started to close the margin for a moment there. And last time by, 2nd quickest on the racetrack. It's actually Eric Hutton, but Garrett Kite right there matching his lap time pretty much. So Hutton showing off some of his short track prowess here. And we've seen Eric be very good at these types of racetracks in the past. Although the track he won at this season was Talladega. He's also very good at those super speedways. And those bumps are just brutal. You could hear Eric have to lift and modulate the throttle. As he gets on the apron there through 3 and 4, that costs him some speed, but Mayato got really loose out of 4, so call it a wash between those 2. As the top 3 still continuing to drive away, we've got battling farther back. It is not Safe Airs, that's actually Ryan Shelton down low under AJ Stravato, who's not had the night that he needs. Got those points in stage 1, but the points leader could be in danger of falling to 2nd in the standings if Connor Horn comes away with the race win. And Connor loving what he's seeing with the 33 deeper in the field. And a few drivers not making an appearance tonight. Oh, big hit there for Eric Hutton in the wall out of 2. Go back to see this. Just corrects too hard to the right. That was what I was saying is the 48 of Jeff Wright has not been here for the last couple of races, and he's starting to slip down through the point standings after at one point leading the standings. Hutton really struggling with that race car now. Was pretty good there in the opening few laps, but he has since lost control, and here comes Mark Emerson trying to track him down. Mark himself sliding all over the place. But he is wheeling that thing. I think Mark, a big fan of these loose race cars. And I bet these top three having a whale of a time up here, just knowing they've got this kind of speed and this kind of car control. None of them really sliding as much as the rest of the field. You can see they're putting the right amount of wheel input in, but oh, big wiggle there. Just as I say, they're not sliding much. Bailey Turner, big slide through 1 and 2. It's down into turns 1 and 2. Yusuf Ghali is there. He has been on the back bumper this whole run. Just has not been able to make a pass. He hasn't even gotten to Connor to really push him out of the way. But you know, when it gets late in this race, Yusuf Ghali not afraid to use the bumper. And caution flying again. That's the 33 of Stravato, I think. And it is not Stravato's night. Let's go take a look at what happened to him. I think it was down into turns 3 and 4. Oh, Greg Welling got turned off the nose, and then he gets hooked, tagged by Dylan Parker, and stuck up against the outside wall. That started in a completely different way than I expected. But Greg putting pressure on Zach Halpern. He tries to move the outside. Alec Martinez gets pushed by the 6, and they all kind of stack up. And around goes Greg, who was having a pretty good night. The field on the pit road. Anybody going to try any kind of a pit call or strategy call? Looks like Adam Cabot staying on the racetrack, along with Dylan Parker. Taking a look to see if anybody tries to pull a 2-tire call. Doesn't look like it. And I think Bailey Turner might have beat Yusuf Ghali off the pit lane. Put himself back into essentially the second position as the top 3 have stayed on the racetrack. I think they're all trying to lead some laps. AJ Stravato now brings it in. Adam Cabot leading across the line there. And we're going to go to another quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
We've been waiting for this moment. Generations of innovation all coming together in one place. A pedigree of more than 70 years of NASCAR Cup Series history, from the past to the present, from Petty to Earnhardt to Elliott. Today, there's no more waiting. The future of NASCAR is now. Drive the next-gen cars today on iRacing and step into the next generation of racing.
Back at the track now. This is going to be very interesting. Adam Cabot, Dylan Parker. He stayed out on the racetrack. Everybody else on fresh tires. This might help out Bailey Turner. Cabot, the race leader. Going to get him going here. Spins the tires a little bit. So does the 3 of Dylan Parker. And here comes Bailey Turner on the attack. Keith Maiato also able to make it around. And that has checked up Connor Horn. I'm sure not happy about what has happened to him. And look at this. Adam Cabot still leading the way. Good speed from that 77, even with all the nose damage. Still out in front. But here comes Bailey Turner now on the attack, trying to get the race lead back away. Connor Horn checked all the way up back to 6th. He's still trying to work his way around Dylan Parker. And it looks like he will get past the 3 machine. But here comes Bailey Turner. Big wiggle out of the corner. Slides right up in front of the 24. And Keith Maiato now in the picture. But here comes Yusuf Ghali trying to get to the outside of the 36. Can't quite do it. Nose to tail. They go down the back straightaway. Maiato into 2nd now. Connor Horn filtering back up into the 4th position. But Bailey Turner back in control of this race like he was early on. Big checkup back there. Eric Hutton, Garrett Kite getting into each other. They're making contact 3 wide. Zach Halpern through the middle. Dylan Parker down low. Still trying to hang on to it. Hard in the inside wall they go. Across the racetrack. Yellow flag flies. And oh, there's the 71 into it at the last moment. But Zach Halpern, big hit there. He and Dylan Parker got tied up out of turn number 2. As let's kind of go back to where this all started. Eric Hutton. He's up there in front of the 8 machine of Garrett Kite. And I think there might have been a little contact. No, just gets really loose and then kind of overcorrects. They check up a little bit. And then the 8 kind of disappears, a little net code. The 7 goes through the middle, and then they just get stuck together. And Elliot Butler, big hit. The 3 of Dylan Parker gets turned around there. Actually was driving in reverse for a little bit. But good job by everybody avoiding him, essentially. Other than the 71 getting into Zach Halpern, just again, really nowhere to go. And he tried to shoot the gap, and I don't think he knew that the 7 was down there. Couldn't really see him, I think, because of the 18 of Alec Martinez kind of blocking the view. But what a relief now for Bailey Turner, who might have seen this race slip away in the early stages. Now might have a shot to capture a victory. He's back in control. He's got Keith Maiato and Yusuf Ghali as kind of a buffer between himself and the 67 machine. But he'll have to pick the right lane here to make sure he gets the best advantage. Keith has not been quite as quick as those other drivers up in the top 3. But showed some pretty good speed on the short run right there. So 6 total cautions so far, 6 lead changes. Very good racing tonight here at Nashville Fairgrounds. It's been a lot of fun to watch these guys. Let's see if we can dial up Ryan Shelton. That 10 machine, he's worked his way back on the lead lap. Let's see if I can find him here to give him a quick call up into the booth. If I can find him. Ryan Shelton, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
I'm going to ask you a quick question. You're back on the lead lap. Perseverance paying off. How's the car feel? And what are you going to do here this last little bit of the race?
Car's fine. Car's really okay. I'm just down on tires, so I've got one set left. Everybody else, I believe, has two. So it's going to be a wild one.
Yep, good luck here.
Absolutely.
Didn't want to get him all tied up as we got a restart going. Kind of missed it right there, but Bailey Turner out in front. Good jump over the field as they're still trying to get figured out for second position. Yusuf Ghali to the inside of Keith Mayato, racing door to door out of turn number 4. Bailey Turner with the advantage. Mayato looks like he's got second place pretty much sealed up. Using that high lane, Yusuf not able to get down underneath him. Big wiggle there as he slides up the racetrack in behind the 36. And Yusuf not afraid to use that bumper. He might use it on Mayato. And they are still sliding and racing it up farther back. It's now side by side for second. Mayato struggling up here, trying to keep pace with these guys. The 54 working down low. He's going to rub doors. Drifted up the racetrack a bit there. But sometimes you gotta get the elbows out at these short tracks. And it looks like it's gonna work for him. He'll get past Mayato. Slides right up in front of him out of turn number 2. And here comes Connor Horn, gonna try and get third position away. We'll see if Keith can kind of figure some things out. Follow in the tire tracks of these top 3. Because I believe he is pretty much the 4th best car at the moment. Both he and Garrett Kite have been pretty strong in the 4th and 5th positions. Just not quite quick enough to keep up with the top 3. But Bailey Turner now in front by about 7/10. It'll be 50 to go. And that gap increasing just a little bit that time by about another 0.5 back to Yusuf Ghali, who's still maintaining a good advantage over Connor Horn. And about 20 laps on their tires so far now, so it'll fall off a bit more. But right now, right around this 19.1 second range as Bailey Turner, fastest car on the racetrack right now. But is that going to hold up now? 0.9 of a second back to Yusuf Ghali as they have pretty much gone single file. Safe Fair is moving back into the top 10 after having early issues in this race. Elliott Butler in the wall right there. Yep, but Safe able to work past Adam Cabot and get to the 10th spot, and he does have 10-lap fresher tires than everybody in front of him, so there could be some strategy. Actually, Alex Martinez on the same tire strategy. Look for that 18 to maybe have some long run pace and might be able to track down those top 3. His battle now for 9th. Eric Hutton, Safe Fair is Safe working right down there by the yellow line. Good run as Hutton really got loose. And I think that should give the spot to the 44. Hutton struggling a bit later in this race. It showed some pretty good speed there at one point on one of the restarts. Was up to about 6th position, but he has faded now to the 10th spot. Still a solid run for him here tonight. How about AJ Stravato? Looked like his night was going to be just a mulligan. And up into 6th, trying to minimize the bleeding as Connor Horn has really been one of the top cars tonight and trying to close up that 17-point gap to the top of the standings. And he will do so if he finishes where he's at right now, but it's not going to be probably enough to get all the way up there on the top step. And Bailey Parker absolutely driving away now, 1.1 seconds in front. He's got to be careful not to use all his stuff up too quickly, as Yusuf and Connor are both pretty good on this long run. And Keith Mayato, no slouch as well. He's actually not really faded as much as I expected. Still about 6/10 or so behind Connor Horn. And Keith known to be really good on the long run. Also, Safe Fair is continuing to march forward. He's gotten past Mark Emerson now. And setting his sights on Alec Martinez and AJ Stravato. Safe has been shockingly good on the long runs here in the Virtual Racing League. And even with the damage right now, right where he started in 8th position, also has a lap lead to his credit, so collecting as many points as he possibly can, considering the circumstances. Bailey Turner, he's led 76 laps really quick tonight after starting on the pole, leading and winning stage 1. Trying to sweep it all here tonight. But the gap leveling out between himself and Yusuf Ghali. I think Yusuf has found a little something. He matched lap times the last time around. And this time by about a half-tenth slower. So Bailey responding as he's going to work past the 70 of Lyle Sulfridge, who gives him plenty of space. And up there in that second groove, Yusuf and the other leaders all going to have to work on past as well. But really a 4-car breakaway because Mayato has kept up with these guys, and Garrett Kite fading a little bit more. He's about a second and a half behind Mayato. AJ Stravato, Alec Martinez set to do battle here shortly, and Safe Fair is not far behind as well. So keep an eye on this battle. With less than 40 to go, they are knocking it out pretty quickly here tonight. Bailey Turner, very impressive. I did not expect to see this from the 24 tonight, but he's had some good speed since he returned to racing here. And trying to make a statement saying, hey, I belong here and I've got speed to keep up with you guys up there. The top 4 pulling away. We've got smoke on the racetrack. I'm not sure what that is. Jeremiah Vincent now to the race. He's got it on the racetrack now. 133 laps down. I'm not sure what happened. I think he might have had some connection problems or something, but he's on the track, and I don't think he can gain any spots. He's 51 laps behind the next closest driver, but maybe just getting some seat time. At least going to get some points here tonight. Looking for battles brewing as Alec Martinez has not been able to pass AJ Stravato, and Safe Fair has closed up about a half second on these two. And continuing to close in, you see him working that lower groove right around the seam between the first and second lanes. And it appears to be working really well for him. Looking for other battles. Greg Wellen, Elliott Butler, these two side by side. This is 12th and 13th position. Oh, and the 70 in the wall. He's going to nearly get tagged by Eric Hutton. That was as close as you can get without a huge wreck. Yeah, big hit there, and then Hutton somehow navigated around that, and so did Mark Emerson. Great job by those two as they were racing it up for position, and then the 70 slammed the wall. But Mark Emerson trying to hang on to this 10th position. Eric Hutton starting to find a little bit more speed, trying to get back past him. Meanwhile, Safe Fair is closing in on the back bumper of Alec Martinez, and real big wiggle right there, but just a car length between them. You can see Safe on the ragged edge, just trying to get every ounce of grip out of that race car he can, and he's using all of it, that's for sure. Dylan Parker not too far behind. He's in a heavily damaged car, but still really good lap times from the number 3, who was up there in the top 5 for a good portion of this race, and just mistake after mistake costing him here. Meanwhile, the battle for second could be heating up as Bailey Turner's maintained a 1.2 second lead. It'll be 25 to go this time by. And Yusuf Ghali feeling the pressure now from Connor Horn. That 67 had faded a little bit. He was about 6/10 behind Yusuf, and now just a car length and a half, now 2 down the front straightaway. And Connor muster up the speed and somehow get past the 54 and try and get up there for the race win. He's led 79 laps here after starting in third, right back to where he started. And Yusuf really driving hard into these corners. You see the back end nearly stepping out on him. Mayato's not been able to keep up with those guys. He's about a 1.5 seconds back, and then another 2 seconds back to Garrett Kite. But Bailey Turner loves what he is seeing with those guys battling behind him. They work up behind the 71 machine of Lane Sulfridge. Who's going to try and stay out of the way. Oh, but Connor Horn gets into him. Connor pushing hard there, trying to get as much ground as he could, and just misjudged, I think, but they stay pointed in the right direction. That was a very close call for Connor. He got up off the ground with the way that car hit. And heavy right front damage could cost him some pace, where the last 20 laps could even cause some engine damage, so we got to be aware of what's happening with him. If he's down any power, could start overheating. And it looks like he could be down power. He's losing a bit of time on the straights to Yusuf. And I think he is down power, so perhaps Connor Horn doesn't even end up finishing this race, and that would be a blessing in disguise, or a blessing for AJ Stravato, who you know, for all his trouble here tonight, he's had a great run. And an issue with Safe Ferris, not sure what happened. He got passed up by Dylan Parker. Dylan up to 8th and now putting pressure on the 18. Side by side they go. This is actually for 7th position. Really the first major battle on the racetrack is these 3 cars battling for 6th, 7th, and 8th. And Dylan really pushing the issue. He has been involved in a few things tonight. And oh, big wiggle for all of those guys. Once again, sends it deep in the corner. They're 3 wide right now. Does anybody back out? Oh, and contact there. Dylan Parker trying to hang on to it. He's going to go around. Caution flies. And this changes everything. Bailey Turner probably did not want to see that. Had a 1.5 seconds advantage over Yusuf Ghali. And now, what's the pit call? What's the strategy with what will be 15 laps to go? Do you bring it down pit road? Do you try and stay out? Do you take 2 tires? Let's go back and take a look at the wreck first. They were 3 wide, and I knew it was not going to work. Nobody backed out. I know it's late in the race, but Alec tried to shoot the gap there and then cut down the track a little bit. Catches the quarter panel of Dylan Parker, sends him down into the inside wall, and he was stuck there for quite a while. I think he actually towed it to pit road, and I don't think he's very happy about how that worked out. Had some good speed. Meanwhile, on pit road, Connor Horn takes 2 tires. He's going to try the strategy. Bailey Turner next off pit road, and Alec Martinez has stayed on the racetrack. .46 laps on the tires for Alec Martinez. and damage on the right side, the left side, the back side. I don't know how this could possibly work. It'll be probably 9 laps to go, 8-9 laps to go when we get the green flag. Bailey Turner probably so frustrated that happened. Completely unnecessary accident right there, and he had this in the bag. Just needed to go about 12 more laps, 15 more laps, and he had a huge advantage, and basically could have just, cruised. And now he's going to be right in the thick of things with a car on old tires, a car on 2 tires. He will be the first car on 4, but not going to have a lot of time to work. Meanwhile, Zach Halpern, I believe, the lucky dog on this one. He's currently 14th position. Only 13 drivers on the lead lap. Oh man, I do not know how this is going to work out. Alec Martinez, he is hoping for some miracles here. Probably just quick yellows. Hopefully doesn't want to be the yellow. Looking for his 2nd win of the year and a bold strategy. Try and do it. It will be 10 laps to go when we get the green flag, and Alec Martinez picks the inside right in front of Bailey Turner. Connor Horn in the outside groove with those 2 tires. Don't count out Yusuf Ghali up there in the high lane. He's got a shot at it. Keith Mayato as well. Showed some good speed on the previous restart on the short run. Now Alec Martinez in control, waiting. There it is, green flag back in the air. And oh, Yusuf Ghali nearly goes around right off the start. They're 3 wide down into turn 1. Alec Martinez trying to hang on to it. Oh, and car sliding up the racetrack. That's Yusuf Ghali. Bailey Turner trying to hang on there. Going around. Field goes around. Alec Martinez, Bailey Turner, and the whole field crashing down the back straightaway. And that worked out about how you'd expect. Go back and take a look at how this all started. The 18 of Alec Martinez gets going. And the 2 behind him get a great jump on him. Connor drives into him, catches the 24. Oh man, some crazy net code there with the 54. And then this is a whole car width's worth of net code, unless Yusuf just lost it. And then Keith gets in there a little bit into the 24. Around they go. Garrett Kite, Eric Hutton, Greg Wellen, and so many more involved in that one. Safe Ferris, I think, might have nearly navigated through that. He got into Bailey a little bit, and that just did not work out at all. Cars getting through it being, it looks like Alec Martinez still somehow with the race lead. And this will help his chances, but very messy circumstances right there, and just about what I expected to happen. When you've got cars on mixed strategies like that, this late in the race, almost always guarantees a yellow flag. How has everybody enjoyed tonight's race? It has been crazy. It has been fun. A lot of sliding, beating and banging, side-by-side action for the Nashville Fairgrounds tonight. If you are just joining us for the very end of this thing, Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway 200 for the Virtual Racing League. This is race 12 of 25. Bailey Turner was in control, ready to win this thing with 15 to go. We had a caution. Now he's all the way back in the trying to find him here, 12th position. Alec Martinez has pulled some strategy here. He's got 54 lap old tires. Everybody else with fresh Goodyear Eagles. Connor Horn in the 3rd position on 2 tires. as well as Elliott Butler in 8th on 2 tires. So a bunch of mixed strategy. We could have another chaotic restart right here with Alec in control of it on those old tires. But Keith Maiato could be in a good position to maybe win his first race of the season. Gonna have to find a safe way around that 18 and then hope the 67 of Connor Horn doesn't do anything too drastic. You know how aggressive Connor can be late in these races. But the man wants to win, and he doesn't like to accept a whole lot else other than that. But it will be the 18 of Alec Martinez controlling this restart. It'll be 4 to go. And we do have green, white, checkered activated in this. I think they'll get 3 attempts. And there we go, 18 back up to speed. Maiato really good restart though. He's actually gonna beat the 18 to the line, and he's gonna lead the field down into turn 1 and 2. Keith Maiato to the point. And here comes Connor Horn, gonna try and get past the 18. They're all stacking up. Connor jumps to the outside. Alec Martinez is sitting duck down low. AJ Stravato somehow in that race car is in 2nd place. And 3 laps to go. Yellow flag flies. That is the 44 of Safe Fares, I believe, going around. Elliott Butler as well. Both of them backwards on the racetrack. And what was looking to be a valiant recovery drive from Safe Fares. Now setting up for a green-white checkered finish. Let's see what happened here. They were all stacked up behind Alec Martinez. Down into the corner they went. You see Safe up on the outside. They check up a little bit. He gets tagged by the 6. Goes around. And then the 6 of Elliott Butler ended up looping it on his own. But yeah, he drove right into Safe. Send him around. And then the 6 got tagged by Greg Wellen, which sent him to the end of the pit road barrier. I'm not sure if there was any kind of a payback or anything here. I'm sure these guys not too happy as well. But how about this Keith Maiato? After running, I don't know, 4th, 5th all race long, he's finally in position to win the race. And he has had a very up and down season. Had a bit more positive momentum over the last half dozen races or so. But still, how much would a win change his outlook on this season? He actually won here in the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series, I don't know, about a month and a half ago. And really dominated that race. And this is not really the same type of a race for him. Started 18th. And up to the lead here. He'll have control on the green-white checkered. And AJ Stravato, who started 11th. Running in the modified class. He's in 2nd position. Alec Martinez started in the 2nd spot. He's in 3rd. Old tires on that car. 8 laps led. Connor Horn, who's been arguably one of the best cars, if not the best car tonight. That's 79 laps. He's in 4th. He'll still have a shot at this. Also, Yusuf Ghali, after getting sent into the wall in an earlier restart, he's been one of the top 3 fastest cars as well. He could have a shot here from the 3rd row. Eric Hutton up to 6th. Elliott Butler 7th. Garrett Kite in 8th. Mark Emerson in 9th. Bailey Turner back into the top 10. He's led over half the race. And it's definitely going to be a disappointing result no matter where he ends up. But definitely had a car to win tonight. So something to boost his confidence with potentially. But not going to be the result that car probably deserves. As Maiato in control here. It'll be AJ Stravato and Keith Maiato. We're used to seeing these guys do it on Thursdays. There we go. Back under green. Maiato with a pretty good restart. Stravato with that damage, holding him up just a bit. And Connor Horn trying to find a way around the 33. And car up in the wall. That's Garrett Kite. And crash in the back of the field. We'll get another attempt at it here, but that was the 8 sliding along the wall. And he slammed into somebody. I don't know who that was, but it was a hard hit. And man, another case of bad net code, and Dylan Parker on the, oh man, losing into this one. So Garrett somehow gets pushed out of the way right there, and then down the track right into the 3. Zach Halpern also involved, but man, what a hit for Dylan. That's about the second or third one that he has had tonight. That car goes bouncing and a spin cycle off the inside wall. But Keith Maiato still has an opportunity. He'll still have control of this race. There goes the 70 of Sulfridge getting a lap back. Finally in the lucky dog spot. He'll get back to 7 laps down. 17th position, 3 cars out of the race. Jeremiah Vincent 133 laps down. Also back in the race. Almost sounds like somebody's trying to blow their engine. I don't know who that was, but Maiato out in front. Let's take a look at the race recap. 10 cautions after only having 4 in the first 105 laps. We've had quite a few here to end this thing. 10 lead changes, a lot of them coming late in the race as well. And we've had 1 green-white checkered attempt. And we've got a couple more to get this thing over with. But spending a few extra laps here on the racetrack. Giving you guys a little bit more for your money. I don't know what car that is, but somebody is revving the engine. And some drivers maybe trying to get some restart practice. Eric Hutton in that 6th position could end up with a solid top 5 run here tonight with all the craziness that's happened. And I still can't believe it's Maiato and Stravato somehow emerging at the front of this after everything that's happened to the drivers in the field tonight. Maiato picking the outside, it appears. And that's a bit of a surprise. But I think he's trying to trap that 67 down low behind Stravato, who's a little bit slow up to speed, and then also kind of pinning him underneath Alec Martinez. With those old tires, he's not really able to get up to speed very well. So maybe a smart move, but we'll have to see how it works out. We'll have a long way around on the start. And there we go, green flag back in the air. Maiato gets through the gears nicely across the start-finish line. Down into turn 1, he'll lead those drivers. And here we go.